MBA essays, the most dreaded topic of an MBA application. The last few years I have reviewed quite a few MBA essays and I have realized that we do have quite a few achievements. We do have a lot of things that we have done during our school, our college, but when it comes to actually penning them down and putting across a convincing and memorable story out of it, we all struggle a little bit. But hopefully not after you watch this video, because I am going to share all my tips and tricks of how to write the most effective MBA essay ever. Before I begin the video, I'm super excited to let you guys know that we at Insider Gyan have now launched an MBA consultation and MBA essay review program. सबसे पहले तो मैं ये क्लियर कर दूं कि if you know your resume in and out and if you are good at storytelling, then you do not need any external help to make you write your essays, because at the end of the day, it is your story and you need to write it. Anyone external is only going to be able to facilitate the process for you. But still, if you think that you are not good at storytelling, or for whatever reason, or you don't have time, or for whatever reason you need external help, we have a program now on Insider Gyan. So please check out the details on the link in the description box. Now let's start with the video. So firstly, why do colleges ask you to write essays in first place? Have you ever thought of it? Okay, there are a few reasons, but there are three top ones. The first one is that they want to know a little bit more about you as a person. In our resume, as well as the rest of the application process, we have these huge awards and achievements, all the good grades and the good work that we have done. But there has to be something more about you, right? So through the essays, the colleges want to know what makes you you. Second thing, they want to know what is unique about you, what differentiates you, and what value you can bring to their current MBA or master's batch. And thirdly, they want to know what value they can add to help you realize your goals. So this is where why MBA, why ISB, or why Harvard kind of questions come into the picture. Next, let's talk about what a good essay looks like. What are the few components of a good essay? So first and foremost, of course, you have to answer the question that they have asked. If they have asked you what are your goals and you talk about your leadership skills, it's not going to help your case. Secondly, a good essay needs to have enough life examples. Thirdly, it's very important to use simple words. No heavy jargons at all are required. Simple words but powerful narration. Fourthly, I think in an essay you should write about those things which are not already there in the other parts of your application. You could still talk about some of the things you have mentioned in your resume, but as long as you have a backstory or something more to it. Fifth, and the most important, is excellent storytelling in your essays, because that is what makes an essay memorable. And that is why they say essay writing is part science but part art as well. One very powerful thing about writing or storytelling in general is to show, not tell. What do I mean by that? For example, telling is something like, I am very passionate about girl-child education. That's why I have worked in XYZ NGO. But how do you show it through your essay? You could say something like, when I was a kid, my house help used to bring her daughter every day to help her with our daily chores. One day, she came with a book in hand, and I casually asked her, what is she reading? She said it is her brother's book. And because her parents had never bought her a book, she was curious to see what is in that, even though she couldn't write or read. That is when I started teaching her a little bit of English and Hindi, and that incident helped me realize the importance of girl-child education in India. So you see, you would have used a lot more words in showing than telling, but I can assure you that that is also going to have a much more long-term impact on whoever is reading your essay. So how do you do good at storytelling? There's this very powerful framework which is called the STAR framework, STAR. S for situation, T for task, A for action, and R for result. We are going to discuss an example using this framework at the end of this video. But before that, I want to give you some pointers on what should be your approach when writing an essay. Okay, so firstly, to give it at least 30 days. At least 30 days to draft your essays, then redraft at least 50 times and make a very solid, impactful story before you submit. Also, you will need some of the time to get your essays reviewed and include their feedback, so on and so forth. So anything less than 30 days is going to make you feel very, very rushed, because I'm sure a lot of you are also working at the same time and have other jobs. Maybe you're appearing for GMAT, so you're also preparing for it. And then when you actually come down to writing the essay, step one for you is going to be to introspect and reflect a little bit. How I usually do it is I sit down with a bunch of cards and post-its and I keep writing down. For example, if it's a 400-word essay and it is asking me to describe some of my key skill sets, I know for a fact that I cannot fit in more than 2 examples. I sit down with a bunch of cards, I introspect what all skill sets I have, I write them down. Then I write down to illustrate each of those skill sets what examples, what life examples I have. I write it down. Then I have like a bunch of 10 cards in front of me. Then I can actually go and look at those cards and decide for myself in which of those examples and skill set I'll have some powerful content to write in my essay. The next step for me is to write the draft 1 of the essay. The way I go about it is whatever keeps coming into my mind, jo bhi aata hai, I just put it down without thinking of a logical sequence, without thinking of the word limit, nothing. Jo bhi dimag mein aa raha hai, put it out on a paper. So my ISB essays, the first draft had about 1000 words for a 300-word essay. Then for draft 2, what I usually do is, firstly, though I keep like a 1 or 2 day gap in between so that draft 2 mein main ekdam fresh perspective ke sath aa paऊं. And I try to move around pieces in that essay to make it into a logical format, and that is where I also start synthesizing some of the information, reducing the content and condensing the essay from 1000 words to say at least 500 words. Then in the draft 3 of the essay is where I actually put some focus on removing the grammatical mistakes, checking for logical consistency, no spelling mistakes, etc. And my draft 3 is what I usually use to send out to some set of people who I want to review my essays and give me feedback. And after that, of course, based on whatever feedback I get, there is a draft 4, 5, 6, 7. Usually at like draft 8 or 10 is when I feel like my essay is finally ready. Now it's time to go through one example, okay? And I have my laptop and some notes that I made. So one of the essay topics for ISB this year is describe with examples the most important personal quality that you possess, which significantly enhances your prospects of being successful as a leader. So they say describe with examples, okay? So they want you to write more than one example. Note that. And secondly, they say the most important personal quality. So one quality, multiple examples. What could be the qualities of a good leader? It could be empathy, it could be team management, it could be delegation, it could be influencing, it could be project management. Personally, for me, I think empathy is what I want to focus on in my essay. So I'm going to give you a personal example. The way I think the structure should be is the first 50 words is my introduction and I'm going to put some context. Then the next 300 words, 150, 150 each, I'm going to like illustrate with 2 examples from my life. And the last 50 words again, I'm going to save as conclusion. Also, when I'm giving my introduction, you could also illustrate with another mini life example. I would say something like, as a kid, I was not very good at maths. My friends would always make fun of me for that. But there was this one senior I had who would try to encourage me by giving his life example of how his friends made fun of him when he moved from a Hindi medium to an English medium school. That really struck a chord with me, and to this day, I look up to him not only as a mentor, but I also follow his footsteps. This small incident has helped me realize how important empathy is as a skill for a good leader. Then you are going to give 2 examples of 150 word each. For each of those examples, you need to follow the STAR format. Situation. This one time I was managing a team of 10 people, out of who one person was not doing very well. Task: my job was to help him improve, bring him up to speed, which would also have helped in successful delivery of my overall project. The actions that I took: I tried to talk to him separately and understand his point of view of what was going on in his life. Together, we developed a self-development plan for him. I coached and mentored him and helped him stick to the timeline, and hence helped him improve his overall performance. What was the outcome? This guy started doing really well after a few months. The client had great things to say about him, and towards the end of the project, he also ended up leading a small piece of work, which proves his overall performance improvement. Please note that the second example that you write, try to bring in a bit of diversity. If the first example is work related, then your second example could be either from your personal life or from your non-academic extracurricular activities or from your college. And in the last 50 words, you're going to conclude and you're going to say probably something like, these two incidents have made me realize how strong empathy is to define a good leader. It inspires people and subtly makes everyone look up to you. And that's it. It's simple, no heavy words, two very clear examples, a lot of personal references, and storytelling. That's all that you need. I think that's all that I wanted to cover in today's video. Hope you found it helpful. If you think that you need any external help, definitely check out the links in the description box where we have talked about our program on MBA consultation and MBA essay reviews. And if you like this video, please hit the like button. Subscribe bhi please kar dena, bell button daba dena, and I'm going to see you in the next video. Till then, bye.